For those of you that don't know me, I'm Sherry Taylor and I've written a book. It's called The Anti-Diet Lifestyle: 4 Crazy Steps to Weight Loss Success. And it's basically a journal of my personal weight loss journey, from a size 16, someone who was constantly dieting and with their weight yo-yoing, to someone who's got a steady, healthy weight. And I'm now between a size 6 to size 8, depending on which shop I go to. And basically, on my journey, I discovered 4 separate steps that I personally took to get to where I am today. And they are the first step is to stop weighing yourself. The second step is to learn how to eat and to stop dieting. And the third step deals with breaking up with your current relationship with food and building a new one. And the final step is about letting go of anything negative in your life. But because basically, I believe that holds you back from losing weight and keeping it off long term. And today, I just wanted to concentrate on the first step, which is to stop weighing yourself. And I just wanted to talk about that in a little bit more detail to explain why I arrived at the belief that when you constantly weigh yourself, it actually does hold you back from losing weight. Um, so the reasons behind it are many, and let me start with the first one. And it was certainly true for me. Weighing myself constantly just kept me stuck in the dieting game. The dieting game is all the activities that we do on a daily basis, on a moment by moment basis, that involve restricting our lives and limiting our lives, just because we're focusing on that great thing that we want to achieve, which is the size 8 body that I think every woman wants. And so what it did was, from the first time I woke up in the morning to the last thing at night, during my lunch times at work, I would constantly focus on what my weight was. Had I lost any? Did I gain any? Was it the same? And based on how I'd behaved that day or that week, I knew pretty much what the result was going to be. But it was also more than that, because sometimes I thought I'd been really, really good in the week. And I'd step on the scales really hopeful, and I'd find that I'd either not lost anything, or worse, I'd actually gained some weight. And the moment I found that out, it instantly demoralized me. It instantly made me feel bad about myself. And it really impacted the rest of my day and sometimes the rest of my week. And when I went on this quest to finally rid myself of dieting and find a way to achieve the weight loss that I really dreamed of, I realized that all these little habits that were linked to weighing myself were really holding me back and were really keeping me stuck in a real vicious cycle of negativity about myself. And the constant monitoring, the constant measuring was very, very tiring as well. So if you sort of imagine yourself in that situation, or have a look at your own life and see, are you caught in that circle? Because basically, the reason the scales might say you've put on weight or you haven't put on weight are so many. They're not just to do with the fact that you've been eating too much, or you haven't been exercising enough. Because let's break it down. The reasons you've put on weight, or the scales say that you've put on weight, could be, uh, number one, the scales are not working properly, because I know certainly I had kept a set of scales in my kitchen, and I had had them for years, and I never really knew if they were accurate not or not. Because if I weighed myself I used to weigh myself regularly at a chemist at lunchtime, and that always showed me a different weight to the ones I got at home. So firstly, look at your scales. How long have you had them? How accurate are they? Then, even things like considering what surface you've got your scales on. So if the scales are on a carpet surface or a concrete surface, say you've got tiles in your bathroom, the very same set of scales could show a different result. Next, you could look at what you're wearing. I think a lot of people, they try and wear as little as possible, but I didn't even make the connection that if I weighed myself in the morning, maybe be in my nightgown, which is a lot lighter than if I weighed myself when I'm wearing a pair of jeans or heavy boots. And so it fluctuated, even a few pounds or ounces, and that had a real impact on me. Um, Other things that can impact your weight, it could be hormonal, especially for women. There's different times in our monthly cycle. Your weight will naturally fluctuate because you're going to hold more water in, or your hormonal levels as they fluctuate. They can impact, maybe not a lot, but they will have an impact on how much you weigh at that particular time in the day or the month. And so, just without even noticing it, it could just be your monthly cycle, but you get on those scales and you find that you've put on weight or you haven't lost any weight, and instantly you've demoralized yourself yet again, or you find yourself really angry with yourself because you ate that donut or you ate that takeaway when it wasn't that in the first place. So that's why I basically made that decision, and it was a really scary decision for me, because I was somebody who would weigh themselves 2 to 3 times a day. Now, you may not weigh yourself that as much as that, or you may weigh yourself more than that. What I'm really trying to sort of get across in this video is the futility of it all. Because really, why don't you just let your feelings about yourself, the clothes that you wear, guide you in as to whether you have lost weight or you haven't, or you're feeling good about yourself or not. Don't let your a number on a scale decide and to make the decision whether you've had a good day, you've been good or you're bad, or whether you're being successful or not in your weight loss. Just remove that from your life. And it really, aside from not constantly measuring and monitoring yourself, you also free yourself from a lot of negativity, because you no longer have to do that. And you also free yourself of all the energy that you spend in weighing yourself and waiting for that result. Because I know my heart sometimes used to flutter, especially if I'd had a week where I knew that I had binged a lot, or if I'd been on holiday. I would come back and I think, oh gosh, I'm now going to pay for it, and I need to look at the scales to see the level of the damage. And I couldn't ever relax without knowing what that was. And when I stopped weighing myself, even though I really resisted it for a long time, and I just kept on going back to it because I just needed to reassure myself, have I lost weight? Yes, I must have been good. I need to confirm it. But when I finally stopped weighing myself, it just freed me up so much, and it made me feel so much better about myself, because I no longer waited for the scales to tell me whether I was good or whether I was bad. So why don't you try and look to consider letting go of that? I'm not saying that you go to the doctor and you say to the doctor, no, I don't want to be weighed, because there are reasons to be weighed. And it's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the constant measuring, the constant monitoring of yourself to see if you've lost weight. Just remove that completely, or do it slowly, one by one. If you currently weigh yourself 4 times a day, weigh yourself only 3 times a day to begin with, and then gradually reduce that to 2 times, to maybe once a week, and then once a month, and then really just eliminate it completely. And you will feel so much better and freer, and you'll be able to live your life and be happy based on real events, things that matter to you, not just by a number on a scale.